Morning, everyone. Thank you, Red Cloud, for having us here to give you an update on what we're doing in Spain. Forward-looking statement. Everyone can take a look at that if you'd like. So what is Denarius Metals? We are a polymetallic exploration and development company focused on two assets in Spain. Our flagship asset is the Lemero Project that has a 20 million ton multi-metal historic deposit, resource that when we took the deposit in the company in 2020, and we've since done quite a bit of drilling, our first phase of drilling, and we've then now proved up to 10.6 million tons with a multi-metal as well. And in October of this year, we actually signed an LOI with an asset in Terrell, in northern Spain, that has a lead zinc asset. Why do we choose Spain? Spain is actually a great place to do business. It has the fourth largest economy in the EU. And actually is quite mining friendly. The region that we're in, the Iberian Pyrite, has a lot of major companies, which you'll see in a moment when I show the map, but it is actually quite mining friendly. Just to give a bit of background on the evolution of the company, we formed in 2020 as a silver company focused on two assets in Colombia, and through our few iterations and the way the markets have kind of gone, we decided to move our focus from silver to a polymetallic focused company. Reason being, gold and silver come and go in favor, but it's always good to have multiple metals. So with the ability to pick up the Lemero Project in Spain, we now have gold, copper, lead, zinc, and it just gives us more optionality than just being focused on one metal. A brief background on the company itself. The team that runs Denarius Metals is the same team that ran Gran Colombia and GCM Mining, which in late September of this year merged with Aris Gold to create Aris Mining. So Serafino Iacono, Mike Davies, Alessandro Cecchi, Amanda Fullerton are all the same team that were the driving success behind Gran Colombia getting to where it is. And we spun the asset into this new company with Neil Woodyear, and they are focused on Colombia, and we've now taken the success we had in country and now put our focus on in Spain. To give a bit of a background, Aris owns about 32% of the stock. King Street Capital, which is a hedge fund out of New York, owns about 19. Management and insiders about 5, and the public float is probably another 20%, and there's the other 20 is owned by friendly hands. So it's a fairly tightly held stock at this point right now. So to give you some background on the two assets, our main project is the Romero Project. It is in the Iberian Pyrite Belt. Many people probably know of some of the bigger companies that are in the region. Rio Tinto and Lundin are in the area, and it's mostly focused on copper. And as I said from the outset, we have copper, zinc, lead, gold, silver, and what sets us apart in the region is the fact that we have a high gold concentrate in comparison to our neighbors on both sides. We have Atalaya mining on one side of our project, and on the other is the Matza project, which is now owned by Sandfire. So that's kind of the differentiating factor in our asset in Lemero. And something we just recently signed was an LOI with Romero Metals, which is a zinc lead play in northern Spain, also a great region to do business. And we're in the process of getting that LOI put together, and hopefully we'll be able to talk more about what's going on with the asset soon, and there's a little bit more to talk about in the presentation. If you combine Lemero and Terrell, it's a combined opportunity of 40 million tons of some of the highest grade polymetallic material in Spain. So that's kind of, I think, the big differentiating factor for us is that when you combine the two, we have quite a large tonnage that we can actually put together in Spain. As I said before, we have Sandfire very close to us, and Atalaya. Where the asset is in Lemero, it's serviced by water, power. We have paved roads. We're about a 2-hour drive from Seville, so quite accessible. There's the port in Huelva. We have, a good workforce and quite a few people that it's a mining-friendly jurisdiction. So it's an area that is very welcome to what we're doing. As I mentioned, we have Sandfire, Lundin Mining, and Freeport McMahon. They're all in the same area. So we're in a good neighborhood. As I said before, we have a couple other ones: Rio Tinto, First Quantum, Grupo Mexico, Tarsus, which is I believe a private mining company, and then into Portugal you have Lundin Mining, Almina and Ascendant Resources. So it's quite a prolific area to do work. This is just shows our property boundary and kind of gives a sense of where we're located. The Matza mine is about 6 kilometers away from our boundary line, where they're doing some work, and it's one of the, they are a main copper producer. They have a little bit of a gold credit, which they don't really work with, but copper is their main asset. We got Tarsus and the San Telmo mine, and then to the left of where we are is also Atalaya mining. The area circled in red is the historic workings of the Lemero asset. This is where we've done most of our drilling to date. This is where we were able to prove up the 10 million tons that we announced in September. So we have a large land package, and the good thing is it seems to be we're on trend with the Matza mine where Magdalena is, and it looks like there's our property is an extension of that asset. We're still working on improving the presentation, so stay tuned. We're going to add a few more slides to show that extension in the coming weeks. So just to go through what we've been doing over the last year, our first phase of validation and infill drilling has been quite successful. We have done about 26,000 meters to date to get us to this 10 million tons with copper, zinc, lead, gold, and silver. All very good grades, and the goal is to do an updated resource, hopefully beginning of 2023, and a scoping study hopefully well into the middle of next year as well. So we're looking to get some economics on the project as soon as possible, because I think once people see that we're a multi-metals play and not just a gold or silver focused company, it gives us the ability, when one asset falls out of favor or is not doing as well, you're able to move on to the others. So we're kind of in a unique position to hopefully capitalize on these metals markets. Here's a bit of some of the drilling that we've done to date over the last year. Some of them have been quite successful. Quite hard to read, so I'm not going to go through every single one of them. But you can take a look at it. It's up on our website, and we actually have some of the stuff here as well. The initial resource that we announced in September is a combination of possibly starting with an open pit and going to an underground. This is something that we worked on with SRK and are continuing to work with them as we continue doing more drilling, and we will hopefully, once we get the next resource out in the beginning of the new year, have a better understanding of which direction we're going as we work towards a PEA and a PFS. So this is just some initial look at what we could do, and hopefully we'll continue to improve as we move along. Here's just another one of it shows the open pit and kind of how we're going. briefly talk about this new asset that we picked up in the province of Leon, which is in the northern part of Spain. It's an area that's quite prolific with lead and zinc and silver. We're about a 2-hour drive from the Glencore zinc smelter, so we're in a good area, an area that's well known for zinc. And the reason this is it kind of came to the attention of our CEO was the fact that it's an asset that has been well drilled. They've done a lot of work, but they need a bit of help in kind of moving the project forward. So someone brought it to his attention, and we're going to be working with Romero Minerals, which is the local company, to kind of move that project forward. Here's a few of the drill holes that they published recently, and actually they put one out yesterday that was, I think, about 20% zinc as well. So they're getting significantly good results at their property in northern Spain. And here's a breakdown of kind of how the LOI works. I won't bore you with every detail, so if you feel like reading through it, please do so. And here's a bit of some of the stuff that's been done with Terrell. It shows the deposit. It's quite easy to access. It's kind of drilling into a mountain, and it's an area, once again, that is not covered with a lot of people. It's quite accessible to do work in, and it is a historic region. So it's a place that will be quite easy to do some exploration. And to get us to a pre-feasibility is about, from what I understand, about 15,000 meters more of drilling, and it'll take us towards feasibility, or pre-feasibility. And here's a bit of some of the background of some drill results that they've had some success with over the last couple of years. And our roots were in Colombia. We still have 2 assets in Colombia, not core to us, but the Zancudo Project was a long history of gold production. It's something that we had a JV with IM Gold. The JV came to an end and came back into our book, so we're working to possibly do a resource on this in the coming months and have it out in the new year. And Guillantigua is more of a silver gold asset that sits in the Segovia mining title, which is where Aris is doing their work right now. And they're both there, but right now our main focus is to focus on Spain, but we do have still the diversity of having some exposure in Colombia. And I guess just to wrap up, the Lemero Project is something that came into our portfolio about a year ago. We've continued to drill it and try and prove it up. The historic resource was great, and as our CEO would say, we've done some confirmation drilling to prove that what is there is really there. We have had quite a bit of success. So it's a great jurisdiction, great mining history in the area, high grades, and the team behind Denarius has a track record of success. So Red Club, I guess thank you for your time, and we can take a few questions.